Okay, we're ready to make the tree for our multimedia fall landscape. And here's what we're going to need. You're going to need a paper bag and a scissors to start. This is what our tree is going to look like when we are finished. To begin, you'll notice that the bag has a single side. You can see a few folds, but if we flip it over, we have a side that has what is the bottom of the bag folded up. We're actually going to work with that side of the bag for starters. I'm going to just turn that around so that I can easily cut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just down the center of the side of the bag through both layers with my scissors until I get about an inch or a finger space above where the bottom of the bag is. Then I'm going to just kind of carefully open up my bag. And there may be a little piece that was cut here, so you can just kind of tear that off and get rid of that. But on the side of my bag, you'll notice that there's a fold that goes down that center of the bag, or the center of the side. I'm actually going to cut right on that fold, or close to, and I'm going to cut down just about, as you can kind of see here, the cut mark on the side. I'm going to cut just about down to there, and then I'm going to flip my bag over, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to cut down that fold, or close to that fold, and I'm going to kind of take note of where that cut line is, and I'm going to cut just about down to there. So now what I have is I have 4 pieces cut from my bag. They're all still connected, but I have those 4 pieces. This is the bottom of my bag. If I kind of put my hand inside that bag, being careful not to tear any of my pieces that I've cut, if I kind of put my hand inside there and then just kind of grab the bottom of the bag, what I'm going to do is just very gently but tightly, I'm going to twist that bottom part of the bag right up to where my cuts separated out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little sections. It almost looks like a fan at this time. So I have these 4 little sections. And what I'm going to do in each of those sections is I'm going to cut down right in the center, about halfway from where I've twisted to the end. So I'm going to cut down about halfway, and I'm going to do that in all 4 of those sections. And notice I'm not moving very quickly. I'm taking my time. I'm just cutting down about halfway. And I'm continuing to do that until I've cut all 4. So now actually I have 2, 4, 6, 8 little ends. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, this is my tree trunk, and now I'm going to work with my 4 branches. 1, 2, 3, 4 branches. Individually, I'm going to take 1 branch, and I'm going to now twist that branch carefully but tightly until I get up to where my cuts were made. So I'm going to leave those 2 parts sticking out. I'm going to go on to my next branch, and I'm going to, again, from the tree trunk, nice and tight but nice and careful, I'm going to twist up to where that cut is and my 2 new pieces. And now I'm to branch number 3 where I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to twist nice and tight. And I'm going to twist up to where that cut is so I can see my 2 pieces there. And it will untwist a little bit, but that's okay. And now on branch number 4, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to twist nice and tight up to where my cut is, and I'm going to be able to pull those apart. So now you can see on my tree I have my trunk and 4 larger branches. Now I have 8 smaller pieces, and what I'm going to do before I do any twisting is I'm going to again cut down from the top about halfway down to where the twist is, and I'm going to do that on all 8 of those pieces. So now if we're keeping track, we're going to end up with 16 pieces. I'm going to make sure I have that unfolded there. I'm going to cut down. I'm going to continue to cut. And now I have that done. So now, just like I did before, I'm going to start back down at the bottom of my twist, and I'm going to twist here. And again, it's getting smaller, but I'm going to twist carefully and tightly until I get to where my cut is. And I'm going to come to the next one, and I'm going to twist, and I'm going to twist up until I get to the next cut, and I'm going to keep doing that until I get around all 8 of those. And then what I'll have is I'll have 16 smaller pieces. I'm going to twist those, again twisting up to where I had my cuts made. Let's see, I'm about halfway there. So I'm going to twist tightly but carefully up to my cut. Getting closer to being done. I'm going to twist up to that cut, kind of separate those 2 pieces. 2 more to go, and then we'll have the last step. Twisting up to where the cut is. And then I'm going to twist up to where the cut is and separate those out. So now I have my trunk, my 4 large branches, and I have 8 smaller branches, and I have 16 little ends. The good news is that we're not going to cut again, but we're going to just twist out those last little branches, and those are going to be like the small twigs at the end of the branches. And I find that sometimes if I just give a little lick on my fingers, it helps me to twist those a little bit tighter right at the end. So I'm going to just twist those out until I have all 16 of those done. And once I have all 16 of those done, my leafless tree is going to be done, and it's going to look something like the tree I showed you at the beginning. Now, once we have this part of the tree done, we'll take it over to the hot glue, and the teacher will help you hot glue your tree into place. And then what we need to finish up with is adding some fall leaves to our composition. Each table will have some cut pieces of fall colored tissue paper, and what you're going to do is with a glue stick, whoops, just have a little glue stick handy here. You're going to take one of the little squares of tissue paper, just kind of wrap it around the end of a regular pencil, not a mechanical pencil, but just kind of wrap it around the end. You can just gently dab it into some glue, and then you can stick that into your tree and it sticks right on there. You can have some leaves on your tree still. You can have some leaves down on the ground. You could even have some leaves piled up on the ground. You could have some looking like they're floating through the air in a fall day. But that's how you're going to finish up adding your tree and your leaves to your fall landscape.